Sorry, I'm in a giggly mood.
You're only in a good mood because City won and United lost. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Women's Soccer Show, starring yours truly, Sarah, and somebody else is here too.
Hey, it's Helen. Don't somebody else me. I always give you such a nice intro and then you just shit on me.
You do
like
not.
that.
You just say, welcome to the Women's Soccer Show. I'm Helen, and then I have to jump in and say, I'm Sarah.
I'm here with somebody.
Somebody else is here too.
What a week.
What a week. And actually, in comparison to the week we're about to have, not a lot happened, even though still a lot happened. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I feel yeah, I hear where you're coming from. Kind of a week where I feel like we emphasized the joy and excitement of the bottom of the table. It was like one of those weeks.
Yeah.
Last week we focused a lot on the Champions League. Feels good to be like looking at relegation battle a little bit harder, and I love a relegation battle.
Totally. This has been building. We've been talking about the bottom of the table and the relegation battle for a few weeks now, and it's really starting to hot on up, as you would say.
Oh yeah.
It's
put your quibs in.
It's hotting up in here. So let's just dive right into the bottom of the table.
So West Ham beat Reading 5-0.
Yep.
5-0.
5-0. Goals from Dolly. First one. It looked like it was supposed to be a cross, but then it snuck right in the back door. Doesn't matter. It was beautiful. Second one came from Svitkova. It was a great counterattack from West Ham. Just immediately right from the goalie, literally from end to end. Fantastic counterattack. And Reading just left somebody open on the backside, left Svitkova open on the backside. And then 3 from Thomas. My favorite goal was the 5th goal. It was absolutely gorgeous. Thomas chipped the keeper. I also want to note that all 5 of these goals came in the first half. It was 5-0 at halftime. So incredible showing from West Ham. Unexpected, but right as we were saying, it looks like the fight has just been beaten out of them. They come back and they beat Reading 5-0. And boy, the bottom of the table is spicy.
Yes, completely agree. That goal was amazing, but oh my God, West Ham fans are going to hate me. I'm not trying to be negative on a 5-0 win. It's flipping incredible. By any stretch of the imagination, it's incredible. That goal was definitely the highlight goal, because the rest of them, it was like playground stuff. And it was playground stuff not because West Ham weren't finding those gaps and weren't utilising the space. It was playground stuff because of Reading. And we speak about this all the time, Sarah. We've spoken about this probably like 4 or 5 times in the last 6 or 8 weeks. What is going on with Reading and their consistency? They scored early in the game, West Ham, and they rode their luck, but the Reading back line were just so confused. I just want to give an example. The 3rd goal, for anyone that goes back and watches it, it was a farce. It was scrambled over the line by Thomas. Yet again, she strikes again. But I just want to rewind to just before and the build-up to that goal. As West Ham were looking at it, you're in a 4v2 situation. You've got 2 defenders and there's 4 of you from the middle of the pitch, from the midfield. 2 Reading centre-backs and 2 strikers sitting on those centre-backs. There were no full-backs even in the frame at all. When you watch it as a viewer from home, they weren't even in the frame. Even if you're Chelsea, Man City winning 3-0, you don't push up both your full-backs when you have 4 or 5 people staying in midfield. You go, right, okay, they're obviously going on the counter-attack. We need to leave someone back. You know, the old rule, it goes back to schoolyard. If there's 2 people staying up, 2 strikers, then you have 3 defenders, right? That's like you have 1 more than there is strikers. How can you have 4 people in the middle of the pitch against 2 centre-backs at any stage in the game? It just kind of really emphasised that there's just a really, really shoddy performance from Reading. I think tactically they were trying to change something up there. I'm not really sure why they're doing that a few weeks from the end of the season. It was really confusing. West Ham did play well, but it was less of a West Ham masterclass and more of a Reading, what are you doing? Shambles for me. And I don't want to. I love West Ham.
Yeah, they're not gonna like you for that. I thought it was both. Obviously Reading didn't shine, but West Ham took advantage and they scored a lot of goals, and I thought it was a good showing, and they showed some fight, which we hadn't seen from them in a long time. But this leaves the bottom of the table, along with the other results from this weekend, looking absolutely wild. So let me just run through this really quickly. Birmingham City is in 9th with 13 points.
West Ham is in 10th with 12 points. Bristol City's in 11th with 11 points. And Aston Villa is in 12th, last place, with 10 points. That's 13 to 10. That separates the 9th and the 12th place.
And the game difference makes all the difference because West Ham have a game in hand over Birmingham City. So they win that game. They go from 12 points to 15 points. Then they've overtaken them. They've gone from the bottom of the table this week to to 9th place. Sorry, I'm laughing because it's ridiculous.
And then Aston Villa have 2 games in hand over Bristol City, who sit just above them, and are only 1 point difference. So we've got quite a lot happening. Aston Villa, when you look at their remaining schedule, they play West Ham twice, Bristol City once, and Birmingham City once.
Do you know what I think, though? Can I be totally honest? I think that everybody at home who has no affiliation to any of these teams is kind of rooting for Bristol City, or is it just me?
I think it's just you, but I don't know. We could put a poll out.
I just feel like Bristol City, the turnaround to pick up points, draws here and there, and then get a couple of wins, to take them out from literally 0 points until like Christmas. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because this is all so absurd, but they managed to get themselves out of it. It would be such a shame if they fell back into it. I don't know, maybe just me.
I have a feeling we're going to see the relegation spot change over quite a few times before the end of the season.
I have another poll as well that I want to do. Ignoring your allegiances to a team, so if you're a Chelsea fan or if you're a West Ham fan or whatever, ignoring your allegiances, stepping away from it, which battle is more exciting? The relegation battle or the WSL championship battle?
100% the relegation battle.
Do you think?
Absolutely. The championship battle is almost boring to me now.
Oh my God.
It's absolutely the relegation battle.
You're being booed now. Everyone, all the Chelsea and Man City fans like, boo. Is this because Man United fell out of the realms of possibility?
No, it's because the space between the teams is just so much less. And there's so little space between the teams at the bottom every single weekend, and every single point really matters.
Oh God,
just
please.
is more exciting.
We need to do this poll. It's official. The poll is going out there.
I like that poll. Like that poll.
Let's move on to Manchester United versus Brighton. How are you feeling?
Well, jumping into it, Brighton took home 3 points in a 1-0 defeat of Manchester United. It was a rough day to be a Manchester United fan, that is for sure, which I am not necessarily saying that that's me, but...
No, right. Oh, you're not? Okay. No, I'm not saying anything. No problem.
I don't know. I've really lost track of what I've admitted to and what I haven't admitted to at this point.
I don't know where I am. I don't know what day the day of the week it is.
From a Manchester United side, well, first of all, the 1-0 victory came off of a penalty in the 25th minute. I actually can't speak to that because I never got to see a replay of it. I didn't see what happened in real time, and I didn't get to see a replay of it, so doesn't matter. Penalty happened. It was an absolutely fantastic penalty that was taken. And Brighton had 1-0, and that ended up being the final score. From a Manchester United stance, what I saw from them was, first of all, they completely abandoned the holding center mid position. They started off with 2 holding center mids in their formation, and the way that they were playing was just one directional. It was completely one dimensional. It was just long balls up the top with the holding center mid position just also pushing up. It was essentially like watching whenever somebody got the ball, everybody just sprinted forward. Nobody was checking to the ball. There was hardly any attempt at little combination plays. It was just like Hail Marys. I do want to call out that they're very injury-ridden. I would say almost more so than any other team.
I want to call you out on that because we spoke earlier about this. And this Man United squad that is left behind after losing some of their top players.
Well, let's just name them. Tobin Heath, Kristen Press wasn't available today, Leah Galton has been out, and Lauren James got hurt in the first 15 minutes today. Those are some big names.
Only Leah Galton is the only player that you've just named that wasn't in the squad, season on season since they came up from the championship. And since then, they've got like Thorisdottir from Chelsea. For me, it's just like they have Jackie Groening, they have Katie Zellum, they have Ella Toon. Jess Sigsworth was their number 9, you know, when we were watching them 2 seasons ago when they just came up from the Championship. I think it's far-fetched to say that this is the reason for their demise. But then I also know I'm going to get absolutely slagged off by Man United fans who are going to say that I'm being bitter and stuff because of yada, yada, yada. I looked at the squad and I thought, in my opinion, you've still got one of the best English keepers. And they've still got, for me, a top 5, top 6 team with all of those injuries. I do get you that they have had injuries and they've taken away 2 of their best players. But this squad, the basis of it, the foundations of it, are the squad that I've been seeing for 2 years.
Yeah, I'm not saying that they're left with shit. I'm saying that their top goal scorers and like biggest impact players have all been taken out. And that's a big blow. And especially taking somebody's bench away. When you lose a bunch of players to injury, your bench gets really, really thin. And I'm just saying it's a big blow.
I think more than saying like the injuries are there, we need to say, like, how are this Manchester United squad with such experience in their back four, people like Jackie Groening, who is borderline world class, how are they losing to Brighton, who are very experienced and have a great coach, by the way?
I mean, I get what you're saying. I don't think it's an issue of their defense. I think it's an issue of their goal-scoring abilities, which is why I'm saying that. But with that being said, credit where credit is due. Brighton played some lockdown defense. They played with a back four and 2 holding mids, so basically 2 6s. And oh boy, they stayed really strong. They were not letting Manchester United work the ball into the box at all. Manchester United was really having to pick up scraps where they could and take shots from outside the 18. And credit to Brighton for that strong defense that they played.
They had a brilliant game at the back four, and to do that from 25 minutes when they scored the goal to 90 minutes and have that consistency for the entire 90 was like pretty remarkable. When you consider as well, Man United had 16 shots. Like when you actually consider how much they had sort of being thrown at them and they had it with very little possession. Yeah, that's the kind of Brighton that we love to see and that we saw earlier in the season as well. You know, they're kind of getting used to a little bit beating these top teams, aren't they, Brighton?
They're like, we know how to do this. Been here, done this. So what does this mean for the table, Helen?
I think this means Manchester United's hopes of Champions League football could be over. They're matched on points with Arsenal, who sit in third above them, but Arsenal have played 18 games and still have a game in hand, so that will obviously take them 3 points ahead of Manchester United. And this is a sort of league where really now I can't see Arsenal dropping too many more points. So it looks like Champions League hope is all but over for Manchester United. Brighton, really great actually, because they're now sitting 6th on 24 points. But for Brighton, they really had nothing to win today, because a win just keeps them mid-table. A loss would keep them mid-table because they're kind of comfortable enough ahead of Reading and Tottenham. So to win this game today and have that fight, you just got to wonder like what motivation they have in the dressing room. Like it must be sky high in that dressing room at the moment. What about the rest of the WSL?
Let's talk about it. Chelsea beat Birmingham City 6-0. Woo-wee. You would think that they were a little tired coming out of their Champions League. No, they weren't. And guess who really wasn't? My girl, Sammy Kerr. She got a hat trick. She's tied with Miedema as the top scorer in the WSL. They both have 17 after Miedema scored 2 against Bristol City as well.
Can I say something about Sam Kerr really quickly? Because I think that we've gone through this sort of transition.
Careful.
You and I. No, this is a good thing. We've gone through this transition over the series and over the last year of the Women's Soccer Show. And after the World Cup, actually, where I spoke a lot about Sam Kerr during the World Cup. And when she came to England, spoke to various Chelsea fans being like, well, we shall see. Like this world-class player from the NWSL who smashed every record in Australian W League, who smashed every record in NWSL. We shall see if she's actually made for the WSL. And can I just say, she's kind of quietly, head down, just got on with it this season. And literally, I don't know about you, but I just haven't quite realised until I saw the stats today, she's like the freaking top scorer, dude.
It's just so fun to see. And we love the Kerr-Kirby connection. That's just developing. Kirby. Speaking of, Kirby had 2 goals in that game. Just an absolute stunning performance from Chelsea and from Sammy Kerr.
Kirby is just unbelievable now. And what's crazy about the Chelsea squad is that when you take shine for a second onto one player, so when you shine a spotlight on Sam Kerr, you're like, yeah, but I kind of don't want to like disregard Pernille Harder, who's also been world class. I don't want to disregard, Kirby, who's arguably, Ballon d'Or material. Like, it feels odd even saying it, but she's world class. There's like absolutely no denying it. To think of her recovery over the last, 12 to 18 months, what an absolute hero. What an absolute hero for anybody in any sphere. What she's had to go through. Christ on a bike. Kirby,
it's hard not to root
icon.
for her.
It's hard not
her.
to.
We love you, Kirby. We know you listen to this, so just
we know she loves us. Arsenal smashed Bristol City 4-0. I wasn't expecting it to be so comfortable. Arsenal really starting to look like they're getting into the stride, and the Arsenal we know. Miedemar had 2 goals, Van der Donk had 1, and Beth Mead after that cheeky red card also had 1.
Everton beat Aston Villa 3-1. Pretty dominating performance. Villa played some pretty organized, shut down defense for a while, and Everton eventually broke through and were able to put 3 away. So pretty good showing from Everton, who, like Reading, we don't really know who's going to turn up on a week-to-week basis.
I was going to say that. It's so annoying. But yeah, I'd love to see them kind of bolster their squad over the summer and really challenge for the Champions League spot, because it'll be really exciting next season if we've got like a Man United and Everton, various teams really going for it. City beat Tottenham 3-0. Tottenham conceding an unfortunate own goal for the first goal. Becky and Weir put it away. They put it away 2 more.
They put it away. They put it away, the goals. In the back door.
In the back door it goes. Shall we go around the world?
Let's go around the world.
Around the world, around the world.
In the Spanish Primera División, Barcelona conceded a goal.
What? Everybody
this is
stop
actually
what you're
their
doing.
4th goal that they conceded in the Primera División. They also won 7-1 against second place Levante. So, bummer that they conceded, but it's still a pretty convincing win.
I don't think they're going to cry themselves to sleep tonight. Like, we conceded a goal.
Well, we'll come on to it, but they also conceded against City.
Yes.
But we'll come on to that. That takes Barcelona to a goal difference at the top of the table of 106. So again, they're doing all right. In another shocking twist, there were 2 red cards in Real Madrid's 4-0 win against Logroño. In the 90th minute, Real Madrid played out of the back, straight into an attacking position, and a tackle between Gonzalez and Martinez causes an absolute uproar. They both scuffle and both players are sent off. No huge changes to the table except Real Madrid close in on Levante, who are still in second after their big loss against Barca. Wow.
Over in Italian Serie A, there have been no major changes at the top. All 4 of those teams winning comfortably. The bottom 3 also look like they won't find a way out, even after Napoli snatched a point against Empoli this week. So the top 4, the bottom 3 are all looking pretty much set in stone now over in Italy.
Moving into France, there have been no changes in the French Division 1, as lots of games have been postponed, cancelled, or were already paused due to COVID. Unfortunately, Lyon played on the 27th of March against Dijon, but didn't have a game this weekend. Meanwhile, PSG played Soyax today and won 7-0. At the moment, there's a bit of a break before a big Champions League Round 2 game, which will now happen on Sunday, April 18th. That is, of course, in reference to the PSG Lyon Leg 2.
Internationally, there is some good news and there's some bad news. The teams are beginning to form. They're coming together for their camps, but there has been quite a lot of COVID upsets. I actually messaged you earlier. How do you feel about Macario not joining her USA teammates, especially after an amazing performance at the last US meetup? The French league can't release her because there's been so many COVID outbreaks within those squads, and we'll get on to the French team in a second, but how did you feel?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I think we're all really excited to just keep seeing how she plays with the team, how she develops with the team. She's definitely in the running for the roster, so it's really unfortunate.
There have been quite a few outbreaks over in the French team, and what really sucks is obviously France are playing US Women's National Team and then they go on to play the Lionesses, but quite a lot of the Olympic Lyonnais players actually are the ones that appear to be coming out as being COVID cases. So Henri, as a prime example, has now tested positive with COVID-19, so she will miss that leg. And it's just such a shame because I feel like we've waited for this return leg fixture for so long, and a lot of the top French players play for Lyon, so it just means what will happen to that fixture. Will it just be a bit of a damp squib, or will we really, get some of the top players coming through?
It's true. We wanted to see some full-on competition, and it's just going to be less competitive with France not having all of their players, but it'll still be fun international soccer.
Totally. I can't wait for it regardless. As the teams start to form over the next week, we'll try our best to kind of put together a little brief on everything and what's going to be happening and where you can watch the games, because I know it's difficult. On that, Sarah, are you all right after a little bit of a Twitter scenario with not being able to access games from America?
Are we really going to get into this?
There is an issue all over the world, whatever country you're in, with accessing women's football. If you deny that, I don't know what tech ability you have, because obviously you are streaming directly into the camera lenses that are inside the stadium that none of us can access. It's getting better, but in America you have the same problem, don't you, Sarah?
Absolutely. And I'm not going to get into the nitty-gritty details of what we were chatting about on Twitter, because frankly it's probably boring to everybody, because it's getting into well, if it's not on the FA Player, it's on NBC, and okay, that doesn't matter. But yeah, accessibility is an issue. And when I say that, I want to be clear also that I don't just mean sometimes I can't watch the game. That's not just what I mean. Sometimes I can watch the game, but it's hard to find. Sometimes it's not even hard to find, but I have to watch it on my computer because it's never on television, and I can watch it on my computer, but there's not even commentary, or I get one camera angle and the camera angle looks like the camera angle that I had when I was playing in college. This is not acceptable. So I include all of that in accessibility. I include quality within that as well. Just because I can find a link doesn't mean I'm necessarily happy about it. I'll be happy that I can watch it, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a great thing.
I completely agree. And quickly on that, another additional thing, playing all of the games at 2 p.m. kickoff, for instance, in the WSL, or the times in which you're choosing to play the fixtures, it's like a vicious cycle. It's like if I really wanted to market something, if I really wanted a product to lift off, I wouldn't put 5 tweets out on the same minute and be like, hey, buy my product. I'd space them out. I'd be like, here's one at 2:00, here's one at 3:30. For instance, the Premier League, they never play fixtures at the same time on TV because it's crazy. It's stupid because your market is then spread out across 5 fixtures, 6 fixtures. So accessibility is an issue. There is no denying it. If you deny it, I don't know what women's football you are watching, because I'm not able to watch football and I'm obsessed with it.
And before we jump into this quick advert, which you will very much enjoy, I just want to put a cap on this by saying we are in no means trying to peddle a negative narrative about women's football, women's soccer, or accessibility. We're just trying to be very realistic about it. And as I mentioned, I'm happy when I get to watch a game. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean that it should stay where it is. It can still improve and it can still get better. So yeah, just to put the cap on that, now please enjoy this fantastic advertisement, and we will be right back to talk about the Champions League.
Have you checked out Total Football Analysis yet? TotalFootballAnalysis.com provides researched analysis on loads of football games, including women's football. Want to know why Miedemar scores so many goals? Do you want to explore how City have turned it around this season? Head over to TotalFootballAnalysis.com and sign up to learn more about the beautiful game. We have a special discount for listeners of the Women's Soccer Show. At checkout, type WSL10 to get a full year for €10. That's €40 off the yearly subscription. Head over to TotalFootballAnalysis.com and type WSL10 at checkout.
I love that we've got in our Champions League notes that we are starting with Bayern versus Rosengard, because I think it was probably the least shocking of the lot. What did you make of it?
I suppose I would have thought that Chelsea game was the least shocking of the lot.
Do you think Chelsea okay?
You kind of threw me off there with that. What did I make of it?
For me, Bayern versus Rosengard was going to be comfortable for Bayern Munich. Rosengard just aren't quite at that stage yet. But for Chelsea Wolfsburg, I really thought there could be an upset. And let's be honest, there nearly bloody was.
To be a little bit more clear about what I mean, this specific leg, this specific game, this was actually a lot closer than I anticipated. I thought Bayern would have another 3-0 victory. So leg 1, Bayern won 3-0, and in this past leg, Rosengard actually played really well, and Bayern only took home a 1-0 victory. Of course, the aggregate's 4-0, but I was slightly surprised. Rosengard really put up a fight. Obviously, they needed to score 3 or more goals and not concede in order to move on. But for this specific isolated game, I thought Rosengard put up a good fight.
I think I'd like everyone to pause this podcast right now, return to the previous podcast, press play at around the 23-minute mark, and hear Helen say, I predict it'll probably be about a 1-0 win to Bayern Munich.
Did you say that?
Oh, yeah.
That makes up for the fact that the rest of everything you got wrong.
I have a bone to pick with you about this, but we will move on to Chelsea versus Wolfsburg, and very quickly, I put all of my eggs in the Wolfsburg basket because basically I was losing the bet. So I thought, why not go for it?
What an excuse.
I even said it in the show, Sarah. I said it in the show.
If you're gonna play that way, then you can't complain when you lose the bet, though.
Yeah, I'm not gonna complain, but I did have one caveat. I think you are one of those clever fantasy football people. Clever clogs. So, as an example, I play with my brother-in-law, and he always just matches my squad. So if I put someone up front, Harry Kane, he just matches me. So if he gets a few points... So when I said Barcelona will beat City, you said Barcelona will beat City.
Oh my goodness. What a terrible example. I thought Barca was going to beat City both legs.
I'm sorry, listeners, that you have to go through this and you have to deal with this stress.
What a terrible
stressful
example, too. Like
situation.
I would ever bet on City to begin with.
Oh my God. Your
let alone
hatred
against
is
Barcelona.
bubbling out through my earphones right now.
Listen, we can't skip to Barca versus City before we talk about Chelsea versus Wolfsburg.
Chelsea really convinced me that they could very well win the Champions League after this performance, to be totally honest. It was anyone's match going into the leg. Chelsea were winning 2-1, heading over to Germany, though, for the second leg. So, obviously, away goals is everything. So, Wolfsburg had that away goal. If they could win it 1-0, they would win the game, right? That they would actually win the game. So going into that game, it was really important that they won. Chelsea came out with a 3-0 victory. Sam Kerr got a penalty kick. Pernille Harder put it away. That was the opening goal, 27th minute. And I think just from there, you kind of knew which way it was going to go. Then Sam Kerr, she then puts away the second goal 4 minutes later. Kirby finishes it off in the 81st minute. If anybody hasn't heard it, I think I shared it on my personal at Helen Football, just absolutely amazed by it. There is some footage where somebody has done the subtitles of all of the talking that the sidelines were doing with the Chelsea players. It is just absolute.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It is just so good because
I want to see that.
It's just amazing. It's just talking about where they press and just being like, Sam, you're going to have to press that. Or just like their fullbacks are going too deep. Everybody back. It's just beautiful.
Look,
like tactical.
This is going to sound really weird, but I once heard somebody describe stuff like that as porn for sports fans. And I just I can't unhear that. It's just delicious.
It's the one perk, I saw someone write, it's the one perk of there being no fans in the stadium, that you can sometimes hear amazing tacticians at work. And they're a really vocal technical team over at Chelsea Women's Football Club. So I feel like it's just, you've got to check it out. It's just absolutely amazing.
We will retweet that from our handle, especially because I now want to see and hear that. I do want to note, Chelsea and Bayern both had some breakdowns on defense that were pretty major, and I think will end up costing them if they do that again in the semifinals or finals. But moving into Barca versus City, both of us had our money on Barca. The difference is I said that they would concede. I said they concede one goal. You said they wouldn't concede at all to City. Just saying.
Oh, you are something else.
City really did dig themselves into a hole in the first leg with a 3-0 loss. They had quite a tall task against a very, very strong side. They edged out a 2-1 victory, but that leaves the aggregate score at 4-2 Barca, so not enough.
I just want to shout out again, Ashwala, Barcelona player. I just feel like she doesn't get
So
enough
brilliant.
credit. It's like
Not at all.
when she came off, she was subbed off like quite late in the game. She like embraced every player on the sideline, and you just knew she just put her heart into it, like just everything into it. All I will say is, to be honest, for me, as soon as that Barcelona goal went in, they didn't just have a mountain to climb. They had like Mount Everest to climb. Like when they'd gone 1-0 up, Man City, I thought, this could happen. They've broken them down, and then they again didn't seize on chances. And yeah, it was a kick in the gut. Also, a few hours before kickoff, Lauren Hemp was ruled out of the fixture with an ear infection. And for me, I did a tweet again earlier this week because I'm on the Lauren Hemp train, but I just think that she's bordering world class, and I just can't believe she's 20 years old, and they would have massively missed her. I almost guarantee she would have been in that starting lineup, so that was a real shocker. Barcelona will face the winners of PSG versus Lyon. Oh yeah,
I think whoever wins that game is going to win the Champions League. That's the
really?
game that absolutely. That's the game I'm more looking forward to. I think whoever wins that will win the Champions League.
I can't wait for the semi-finals, full stop. But this PSG versus Lyon now is not happening until the 18th of April. So we've got a little bit of a wait for that second leg game. 1-0 to Lyon, postponed due to COVID, of course. I know we said in the last episode, but knowing everything we know now about players being unwell with COVID, some of their star players have now gone off. Do you shift away from it, or do you think that PSG are going to win this second leg?
I'm going to stick with what I said. I said PSG 1-0 in the second leg, and I'm going to stick with it.
I have to switch now because we have the opportunity to, in order for me to actually win this bet, because I'm losing. True. I have to switch. There's no choice. I think PSG could...
Well, we do still have semifinals and final left, but yeah, you're digging in yourself a little hole.
I need to go against you now, darling. I'm going against you all the way.
Okay,
I'm going for Lyon to win on the 18th of April. So suck on that, Sarah. Watch defeat straight in the eye. You're going to feel it.
The good news, while we do have to wait until the 18th of April, we have quite a bit of soccer to watch before then. The Challenge Cup starts on April 9th, everybody. Sound the alarms. That is this Friday. This Friday. We are going to have quite a bit of coverage for the Challenge Cup. Keep watching our socials, Instagram and Twitter. We will be posting times of games, everything that you need to know about the Challenge Cup. We will have it. We're going to talk about it a lot on our episodes. So full coverage of the Challenge Cup right here for you.
Can't wait. And then obviously, of course, we've got International Champions League. This is basically the most exciting part of the season, let's admit it. When you start to come to this end of the season and you've got so many games, so many juicy fixtures, but also like clubs winning titles and fighting it out to win those titles, this is when it gets beautiful. I cannot wait for the next few weeks. So we will wrap up there. Apologies last week for the news in 10. I've just got to hold my hands up. I completely forgot to do it, guys. I forgot because I'm an absolute idiot. I forgot. You got a news in 10 yesterday. We're back with the news in 10, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Please do feedback if there's anything you think we should start adding to that segment.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for listening, guys.
That's it. I've been Sarah.
I've been Helen.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.